All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football Geek. Today we're talking Dynasty, but we're looking at the top 5 rookie running backs from the 2020 draft. Your rookie Dynasty draft should be coming up soon, so let's get to it. All right, everybody, so let's start with some good news. It's looking increasingly likely that we're going to have a football season, and it's going to start on time. Governor Cuomo tweeted out this week that New York City professional sports can start spring training. The NFL has said that they expect to start on time, and they want to have full stadiums. And the good news is if New York can start spring training, then most cities and states can also start spring training. So that's really good news for us to have a football season on time. So I'm really excited for that, and you should all be too. All right, so now let's dive into our top 5 rookie running back rankings for 2020. So here are the top 5 rookie running backs in this draft in no particular order. We have Cam Akers, Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, and J.K. Dobbins. So when I'm in Dynasty, I'm weighing more than just talent. I'm looking at the situation, the coaching, the opportunities. I'm the number 3 overall pick in my Dynasty draft. I also have the 111. I traded up for the 103. It was the only one I can get in the top 4, but I wanted to land one of those top 4 because I believe I can get a future RB1 in this class. So I'm going to start with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There was speculation that he would land on the Chiefs. People were hoping that he would land on the Chiefs, but I don't think anybody thought that he would be the first running back off the board. Let's look at the Kansas City offense for 1 second. So last year they were 6th overall in yards, 5th in passing, and 23rd in rushing. This offense actually had a down year, and there was a lot of factors for that. Mahomes, Hill, Williams, they all missed time. So Edwards-Helaire landed in the best possible spot. He's also a very talented running back, but he might have some limitations. He ran a 4.640, so that's a little slower than people expected. So he doesn't have the pure speed to just get the corner every time. But his footwork and his movement, those are exceptional. And his vision is also exceptional. I'm not 100% buying into him being the reincarnation of Kareem Hunt, but if you look at what Kareem Hunt did in his rookie season with Andy Reid, it's enticing. He's definitely in the top 3. For most people, he's the number 1 guy this year. Not necessarily because of the talent, but because of the landing spot. So prior to the draft, Jonathan Taylor was the unquestioned number 1 back coming out of college this year. Then he went to the Colts, which would have been a great landing spot if they had traded Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is a good running back and is going to have carries in this offense. So because of that, they're moving Jonathan Taylor down the board. I think this is a mistake. Marlon Mack is a good running back, but Jonathan Taylor is the Saquon Barkley of this draft. He's got the speed, he's got the size, he's got the vision, he's got the footwork. If you watch tape on Jonathan Taylor, he runs away from DB. In the hole, he slips and slides when he has to. He has great feet, but when he has to take someone to task, he's got power as well. He always falls forward. He's a monster. Keep in mind, Jonathan Taylor broke 2,000 yards 2 of the 3 years he was in college. That is impressive. He does have a lot of carries, but he was healthy. I'm not scared of the carries. I think this guy's durable, fast, shifty, and has great patience and vision. Jonathan Taylor is, for me, the number 1 back in this draft. I don't expect to see him at 3, but we will see. So another running back that a lot of people had at the very top of this draft class was DeAndre Swift. So DeAndre Swift was stuck behind Sony Michel and Chubb for a couple years, but every time he touched the ball, he just looked electric. Swift, I think, is going to translate amazingly well to the NFL. He was kind of like a mid-tier combine performer. He didn't really blow anybody away, but he's a high-character guy. He's a I kind of have another guy that I like a little bit more in the 3 spot, which I'm going to talk about next, and that is Cam Akers. Cam Akers came out of Florida State, and he played behind one of the worst offensive lines in college football history. With that being said, in his final year at Florida State, he still averaged 5 yards a carry. He had 1,144 yards. Ended up in Florida State again behind this really awful offensive line and not great quarterback play, which really hurt his production, but he was the Florida State offense. If you watch tape on Akers, he shows you his power, he shows you his speed, he shows you that he can catch. He made some incredible catches. People knock him and say, oh, well, he's an outside running back. He always tries to bounce at the outside. But when your offensive line is that bad, it's almost like that's all you can do is try to get to the outside. I think Akers is going to come into the NFL and he's going to surprise a lot of people. He ended up on the Los Angeles Rams. They have Henderson there and they have Malcolm Brown. We really don't know what Henderson is. There is a little bit of concern there. I do think it's going to be a bit of a split backfield between Henderson and Akers to start, but I just think Akers is the better football player. I think he's been trained through fire. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people when he takes the field. And I think that McVay is a one-back kind of guy. And I think we're going to be surprised when we see that Akers gets the ball early and often and takes over that role to the point where Henderson is kind of an afterthought and really only becomes a handcuff. All right, the last guy I'm going to talk about is J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. So Dobbins actually did not run in the combine, or he did not work out at all. He had an ankle injury, so we don't really have those numbers to evaluate him with. What we can look at is his production. And in 2019, he had 301 carries for over 2,000 yards. He averaged 6.7 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns. He had 23 receptions for 247 yards and 2 TDs, so 23 touchdowns. Dobbins is powerful. He runs with purpose. He doesn't shade away from contact. He can hit the home run. He's got the speed. Once he puts his foot in the ground, he gets north and south immediately. It's really hard for me to rank Dobbins. I could put him really anywhere. He's got the skill set. He's got the numbers. When you watch him on tape, he flashes. He runs away from people. I really like Dobbins. My issue is he ended up in a situation where I think he's going to take a year at least to get to his full potential in terms of opportunities. You got Ingram, you got Edwards, you got Lamar. They're all going to be competing for touches on the ball. I think Baltimore is going to throw the ball more this year. So there's not going to be as many carries out there. Ingram is definitely going to be heavily involved this year. He's got 2 more years on his contract. If you can wait, or if you have Ingram, take Dobbins. But for me, at the 3 overall, I'm looking for somebody who I think is going to get their opportunities sooner. So I feel like Akers, Taylor, Helaire are a little bit in a better seat. But Dobbins is a great running back. He comes from Ohio State. We know that Ohio State pumps out really great running backs. I think Dobbins is going to be a great dynasty asset. If you're sitting in the top 5 of this draft in the first round, you're going to get a running back that I think is going to be an asset to your fantasy team for years. All right, guys, so those are the top 5 rookie running backs out of the 2020 draft class. I really hope this information was useful to you. I know some of you guys have already done a lot of this research and you know about these guys. So please come back in a few days because we're going to be breaking down the next tier of running backs. Some really interesting guys to talk about. This draft class just keeps going and going and going when it comes to offensive talent. Once again, guys, if you could please subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. I'm going to continue to bring you great content. And please, if you have any questions or comments, put them below or head over to fantasyfootballgeek.net, hit our contact page, and drop us a line. We would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Good luck on your fantasy draft.